I can't say it's uncommon for other people to say I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's rare for me to agree with them. You're watching Unbillable. I've never had an episode age so poorly as last week's episode, let's be honest. I mean, last week I was shocked that they canceled the tennis tournament across the street, and I let my shocked emotions flow about the loss of tennis and how the loss of tennis kind of freaked me out. But here I am like 1 week later, and we just had a meeting in my office, and I just want to share kind of the honest life of what's going on right now. Like, it's very rare when you have a meeting. I have a small law practice, including myself. We're 4 employees. I purposely put the chairs in our conference room far apart from one another, and we still don't meet the requirements of like this social distancing thing. We're a small law practice in the truest sense, just 4 people. And so I've never really started a meeting by saying I have no greater information or I'm no smarter on this topic than anybody that's in that room, or maybe even people watching this episode right now. I mean, definitely not a doctor. I have doctors in my family, but that's not helping me here in the law firm, that's for sure. But I think what really needs to be done from a standpoint of business, and I am a business attorney, but I have no idea what the best way to handle this is. I mean, I went into the meeting with my own staff, my guy here, Luis, on the camera as well, and basically said, I don't know anything greater than all of you guys do, but I operate the business. I get to be the person in charge, and I wanted to start off first and foremost by letting my employees know that I want them to be comfortable. So like if they're not comfortable here, then I gave them the freedom to leave. And I don't mean like leave in the moment. I mean like if you're not comfortable coming to work right now, then you shouldn't come to work. We'll figure something out. It is not the employees against the employer. It is not the employees against the business. The law firm's not looking for a reason to cut, hurt, or harm any of our employees. Of course not. In fact, I've kind of said to some of the people I went to law school with, because I opened my law firm very early, after only about 3 years of, after 3 years from graduating law school, I opened my own law practice. It's like very early for most people. And to me, one of the most satisfying things is being able to like cover payroll. Like in the earliest of days, there was like this weird satisfaction of like having a business that actually pays other people and pays myself. And that was like a turning point, and it's always mattered to me. I used to make smoothies in a smoothie bar, and I remember the manager, the owner, used to be like so proud when he would hand out the paychecks, and I never understood it. I was very young and naive at the time, but now, I mean, it is a feeling of pride I have that I have this business that actually operates and helps other people. We've had legal assistants work here and pay for their education and advance their own careers, get out of being a legal assistant and into what they want to do with an education paid for by their time spent working here with me. And I'm like super proud of that kind of stuff. And so by no means would I want my employees to think of this or any other event as my business like not having their back, right? I mean, when you work here and when you work for me and when things are going good, things are going bad, I hope you better have my back. And so when things reverse and the employees are in a place of, let's just say, weakness maybe a little bit, I want them to think and I want them to know really that the business has their back. And I mean, Luis is in the room while I'm saying this, so of course that applies to him as well. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be making Unbillables about, but I do know that I'm kind of bored during the quarantine, so I figured we should be making new content so that, maybe some of the bored people like you and like me out there have something to watch and you don't reach the end of the internet. So we started the meeting by talking about comfort, and then we just really kind of had an open discussion about what people are and are not comfortable with, what resources we know of that are available to help people who are having their hours cut back or maybe having their jobs terminated and things like that. And you can find that information at the State of California website. I mean, I don't want to it's not supposed to be like a honk or an ad or anything like that for them, but if you're watching this and maybe you're having your time cut at your workplace, or maybe you're an employer and you're having to cut back on the hours of your employees, spend some time. The state of California EDD website has a lot of information about unemployment insurance opportunities and other means you have to support your own business and your employees and other people. We are definitely in some unprecedented times here, that's for sure. I've never been as worried about my law practice as maybe when it was just a little baby bird and it first opened. But the same thing can be said about just about everything. I'm more worried about my own family, my children, my parents, my sister in Minnesota. I mean, it's kind of an interesting time, that's for sure. But that being said, I'm not like giving up. I'm not freaking out. We're just making do, and we're taking steps to make sure that everyone is as protected as possible, while at the same time being reasonable and realistic, like not freaking out, if you will. So I have some phone calls to make today. I have a lawsuit to write, believe it or not. And the world is going to continue to spin, and whether we spend a couple weeks or a couple months or no time at all in quarantine, we don't really know yet. All we know is this idea of flattening the curve makes sense to me. I want my employees to know that I support them if they believe they need to take extra steps to play a part in flattening the curve. If you haven't seen the video kind of going around social media of the matches that all kind of catch fire and that one matchstick steps out, I would like to be a part of the matchstick that steps out, and I encourage you to be a part of that as well. Let's stop the chain of transmission as much as we can, and I'm not exactly sure what that means, but we're going to try to figure it out here, and I hope that you try to figure out wherever you are. And of course, if you like this episode and some of the candor, you know how to subscribe. You hit the subscribe button or you click over there. And of course, subscribe and then watch other episodes of Unbillable by clicking right down there. Thanks for tuning in. We look forward to seeing everybody in the future episode as well.